Hey folks, it's Aviation. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a short flight out along the eastern coast of the USA. We're taking off here from Richmond, or West Kingston Airport, I should say. This is by RM Studios. You can get this on Sim Market. There'll be a link to that one. Very cheap, really cool, little nice airport to start out as a base for some East Coast operations and flying. We're taking Carenado's Cessna 337 Skymaster out for a trip, and we're heading to a beautiful destination, which is Martha's Vineyard. Somewhere a lot of us have visited in previous simulator incarnations, and this was sent to me by Addon at Burning Blue Designs. They just released Martha's Vineyard. I'm excited to go look at it. I've not been there yet myself, so I'll be excited to go see the island and the airport and see what we have to do. Now, we're about 45 nautical miles away right now, and I have for the first time, as we deal with annoying beeps, and I turn my head on, there we go, for the first time I'll be able to actually do this. Button, there we go. Go away, tablet. Come on, that's it. I'll be able to turn on the GTN 750, which I'm running now. So, let's get this thing programmed, shall we? I'll turn my head off for a second while I make sure this is correct. We're heading to a specific VOR today, which I'd love to be able to actually... There we go. 114. This is so much easier. 0.500. And that is going to be the MYR at the Vineyard. MYR VOR DME. So that should give us the details we need for that. And if I were to click on map mode, we have it picked up. That is really useful. So we know exactly where we're going. Now, we'll be heading out of Richmond here. Should be a nice, simple one for us today. Trip should take us just over the coast. We're going to be running south of the Newport airspace, because there's a bunch of airspace in Massachusetts as we go further north, and it gets really, really busy, so we're going to skip that and just fly south. So, just take us out there. Now, for those of you who don't know where Martha's Vineyard is, it is just south of Cape Cod in Massachusetts, so should be a nice little trip. And it appears to be quite nice out so far today, so we'll take that for credit, shall we? I have since been doing a lot of flying on this and worked out how to use all of it, so that's useful. Okay. Yep, we are good on that. Okay. We are good there. Nope, that looks good. Thought I had to turn the fuel cocks on there, but I don't think I do. Hello. My head's a little bit high up. No wonder things seemed a bit weird. There we go. We can look up and down properly now. So it should be a simple matter of, once my systems are all engaged, clear prop. Yeah, so unfortunately with the way my controls are set up, I tend to start both engines on a twin at the same time. I shouldn't, but it's such a hassle to reprogram that for individual engines. I don't know how to yet, so it'd be nice if we could switch the starter from 1 to 2. That'd be a wonderful feature. But there we go. Okay, looking at everything seems warm enough. Or it's starting to warm up, I should say. Let our cylinder head temperatures come up a little bit. Oil's good. Oil pressure's good. Fuel looks good there. Okay. I think we're good to go. Shall we head off? Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Where's my parking brake in this thing again? There we go. Put the yoke back on again. Okay. Let's get ourselves taxied out here to the runway at Richmond. We're expecting about 12 knots off the onto the from the sea onto the coast, so from the Atlantic. So should be pushing us inland as we go. It's almost a direct crosswind either side for here, so we'll just run with either direction. Okay, runway 27. Actually, in hindsight, 27, is 27 going to be good? Yeah. No. Other end. Other end would be a better idea. This will take us off with a tailwind. I'm recording this at 2 in the morning. My brain is not its most focused, as it could be. So I'll get ourselves taxied down here. There's no taxiway to use other than the runway itself, so we're going to do just that. I'm not normally a huge fan of just GA flying through busy airspace, but Martha's Vineyard has always been a classic destination in the flight sim, and that's been from older sims as well. And there's something very beautiful about New England in general, so I thought it'd be nice to take a trip out here, and when I was contacted by Adam, I thought, you know what, let's go here, let's take a visit, and it should be rather nice this time of year. Although it could be nicer in the summer, of course, it being a summer destination for the wealthy. Let's get ourselves spun around here. Okay. Rock and roll, shall we? Off we go. I really have enjoyed the 337 so far. In fact, I believe it's going to be the plane I'll be taking on my Trans-Canada trip. I believe I mentioned that trip in a previous video. I thought it might have been the 337 review. Little bit of rudder to compensate for that, as we're getting a little bit of wing drop on that side. Okay, build some airspeed up, pulled that gear in. I am drifting somewhat to the side there. Ooh, hello. There we go. Flaps coming up. Let's pull that power. Where do I want to have this set up for now? We'll go for 25 for the moment. Square off the RPM. Running constant speed props does bring with it, of course, different considerations you have to think about, which for most flight simmers they don't care. They just pull that back till it's in the green and they call it good. But this running above square, under square, and running square. Square is where you're, for example, the same as you are on the manifold. 25 and 2500 would be square. So something to consider there is just balancing out the engine performance. This is going to be a high performance cruise going for now. While we're still in climb, we'll keep it on there. So I haven't done a ton of flying out here in New England, so I thought this would be a fantastic opportunity, not only to head out here myself, but to bring you guys along with me, because I love new places, and I think one of the biggest things the new sim has given me is the opportunity to spread my wings, virtually of course, in these areas I've never flown in before. Back in the day, and it's a hard habit to break. I used to fly only in Alaska and Canada because I had scenery for that, but it was all extra other things. And frankly, FSX could look like a dog in many places, and a lot of the default scenery looked terrible. I couldn't stand it. So I would just use what I had, which meant limiting myself to certain areas, even the Pacific Northwest. So it actually was quite nice that I can now travel to all these beautiful far-flung places and really enjoy them. And it does make a huge difference. It's very green this time of year. I must say, the GTN 750 was something I was on the fence about before, but I have turned out to quite like. I believe there's a doodah. Where is it? There we go. A pop-up one as well. Not used this even at all yet, so just the panel one here. So this gives you the ability, if you don't have an aircraft that integrates it naturally, you can just pop it up and use it this way, which does seem kind of cool, if I'm honest. Although it does seem to have a bit of a old performance impact on that one, so let's get rid of you. Yeah, gained FPS when I put that away. 2D pop-ups are not this sim's favourite thing, but the Carenado obviously integrates it perfectly and lets me use that in the aircraft. And it's a very cool tool, because not only can I click and drag around and select certain locations, the menu functionality is really cool. It gives me so many options in terms of what I want to do in terms of navigation. So all these various features here. We've got chart functionality, so let's put the airport in. So try and remain straight and level on course at the moment. So it'll be Kilo Mike Victor Yankee. Oh, I have to set up Navigraph access. Okay. So that's the thing I have to do for that. I haven't got that done, so we'll put the map back on for now. But you can integrate all these various functionalities, which I think is rather cool. Flying over the coast here. This will be Newport to our north in a moment. So over there is Newport, and I believe also generally kind of most of Rhode Island. In fact, that way. All of Rhode Island. Providence is up there, right where I'm looking now. So, we're just north of New York, for those who aren't quite sure whereabouts this is. Generally kind of north out of New York, from past Queens on to Rhode Island, and out this way in New Jersey, that sort of area. So, keep running on up this way, and it's a really pretty area, especially the coastal islands. As we head up towards Massachusetts, it's really, really pretty. These gorgeous islands. The winter, everything looks so sullen and so desaturated, but I think there's a beauty in that as well, you know? A real beauty in that. So we should be passing through the Delta right now for Newport. It should be just fine. Right now we're just up towards 2,000 feet, so I need to actually expedite my climb here. I've been kind of loitering around at 2,000 feet. And I'll pop it up to, say, 3.5 for now. Should be plenty for our little trip today. Speed on the ground is good. Pulling 136 knots at the moment as we're just gently climbing. We have got quite a strong wind though on our case. It's pushing us out towards the right hand side here. So it's not quite coming in from the ocean, it's coming down the coastline really at the moment. So it's buffeting us around a little bit and making things a bit more tricky, so we'll have to be kind of careful with that. On our current track, that means there's not really an ideal runway. There's a secondary runway at Martha's Vineyard, but the main runway is of course going to be 24 and 06. And with the way things are right now, 06 is probably our best option, so we'll likely make a left traffic joining on the downwind. Should do us just right. Newport down there. Ah, very nice. No, I really have grown to enjoy this aircraft. Sorry, back to the topic I mentioned. I'm going to do my Trans-Canada trip. I mentioned going from Vancouver Island all the way across towards Toronto. That was just me saying towards Toronto rather than going to Toronto. There's a lot of Canada further than that, yes. I'll probably end up somewhere like Newfoundland. Will be most likely the end. Maybe Gander will be our final destination. But I kind of want to go down through that kind of southern provinces region rather than just cutting across the north, which would be easier, a shorter trip technically, but not by much. There's so much more to see along the borders. Beautiful scenery up north, of course, but I'd like to go through a lot of the towns and cities and destinations on the way. So this aircraft might be suitable for that. Right, here's the point of the trip where we're really separating off from the coastline, and my brain has just been following the coast, so we'll take ourselves over here and we'll triple along the coastline. Maintain that climb again, I'm being special. It's not a particularly long trip, but I don't really fancy putting the autopilot on for this one. I fancy just hand flying ourselves and having a nice time. Fuel flow's good. Just like to settle out and fly level this aircraft, I've got to say. And the reason why I want to use this for my trip, the view is amazing. Look at how much you can see. Like, that is a gorgeous side view out the window. So much to see. Beautiful for sightseeing. And I've once again leveled out again. I swear to dog. We should be approaching the southern tips of some of the islands out there just in the distance. We can see them just about. That's one of the things I love about New England and the East Coast, is all these beautiful little towns and harbours and villages along the coastline. It's so pretty. There's something very English about it, actually. Obviously, they call it New England for a reason, so that would be obvious. But it really does, I think, just reminds me so much of home. Okay. We're on track, but slightly off to the right, so we'll correct that in a moment as we're still climbing. And we'll level off in about 200 feet at our chosen altitude. For a twin, this aircraft's very easy to handle. It's obviously got the very low differential thrust because it's front and rear rather than being off the central axis. And having that central axis of thrust does make both its double and single engine performance very, very strong. Single engine obviously not as good because you're now an underpowered single engine aircraft. But in terms of its overall should we say roll performance, it makes it more like a single engine aircraft than a twin. The design it has, the pusher design, does mean you have a little bit less elevator authority than you'd like, especially at slow speed. Largely that's because you have a equivalent to a T-tail back there. It's not a regular T-tail, obviously, as we look back here. It is just about in the prop wash, but it's raised up and a little bit shorter, so it's giving you a little bit less authority than you'd normally otherwise have. Oh, we shot past. Then we're approaching the cloud base, so I'll just drop us back down here. We don't have to worry about that. I should pay attention to my navigation rather than talking. Make my life a lot easier. We'll stay below these clouds, don't want to get into that mess. Any higher than this, I think that would put us in those clouds. 21 miles out right now, so we're looking good. Should be approaching the southern end of the islands, and we have West Tisbury to the south, which we should be coming up on at some point. In fact, I think this down below us here is going to be, I think, if my mind serves me correctly, Cuttyhunk Harbour? Yeah, Cuttyhunk Harbour should be down below us coming up now. Onto the Vineyard itself, over the water, just in the distance there. So not too far out at all. Looking good. But no, beautiful visibility. And this is one thing that's important for me in an aircraft is there are some pretty fast ones like the Seneca, but you've got such limited forward visibility and side visibility, it's really difficult to see anything. Those engines are really high up on top of the wing, right next to your eyes. It means it's very good for an IFR aircraft, but it sucks for VFR flight, and this is a twin, a small twin, that I can get on board with that because you have such really good visibility out the sides. And the front, look at this thing. The nose is low, the side windows are huge. Start our descent now, actually put it down to 2500. We weren't up at that altitude for long, but it would do us, so I'll bring my power down until I'm nosing down towards 500 feet a minute. And that should keep our speed in check as we descend. Oh, too much. Put a bit of power on. You need to trim when you have power settings, right? Oh, we are still gaining speed here. That's because of the descent. So let's trim that up a little bit at the moment. Keep the power setting. Carenado just pushed an update, by the way, to the marketplace for a lot of their aircraft, bringing that new system of the iPad in the pocket to all of their aircraft now, or most of their aircraft, and a bunch of fixes. So if you have any Carenado aircraft, that would be a good time to go and install those updates. And we got some rather fun news regarding our updates coming in the future, so we should have some interesting stuff coming out in that time. Ooh. There's Cuttyhunk Harbour. Huh. Actually rather pretty. Okay, we are approaching the Vineyard now, so we need to be putting ourselves to this side. We'll be turning more to our left here. which will allow us to join for left downwind to 06. Should be no problem at all. Let's put ourselves in a close to approximate heading of about 090 right now, taking us still towards the airfield, but also not too close. Well, that bit of the island caught some default textures there. Weird. There's occasionally bits like that in the world. It's always weird. Not normally many, though. Although the entirety of that island looks very default, so we'll have to see what happens when we get across here. Looks pretty good, though. We should be fine. Data went burr, I guess. Looks fine to the north of it, just not the south. I suppose that's how it goes. Okay, we're off our track to the left, which is exactly where we want to be right now. I think I can just about make out where the airfield is in the distance. We're about 9.8 miles out now. We'll say the GTN 750 is much, much more readable. And I can see its advantages. I'm not necessarily a huge fan in the sim. But if I actually had a plane in real life that was mine, and I had unlimited money, not only would it be a Cessna 206, obvious answer, but I would definitely install a 750. Even if I had a Steam cockpit in here, I would totally install large classic navigation instruments, because it's such an advantage to have that. And in a sim, a lot of people, someone actually told me this the other day, and this is before I bought the should we say, pro version of the GTN. They mentioned that knobs in the sim are very fiddly. Phrasing, yeah. But this being touchscreen, which is very like the Garmin Area navigation systems a number of planes have in the sim now, smaller aircraft, that touchscreen ability and key press is so much more tactile in the simulator environment and makes so much more sense in a sim, where trying to fine-tune hold a dial is a pain in the ass. Like this, see, even it's worse with head tracking when I'm trying to find the right. Yeah, no, horrible. But this makes it much, much easier. Okay, let's bring ourselves down. There we go, field in sight. Let's reset our stuff there. Yes, yes, stop bitching at me. Slow it down a little bit, then I could throw the gear out. Don't want to throw the gear out too much, especially with how draggy those doors are. Pulling the gear down too quickly with very big, chunky gear doors like this has, good chance of ripping those things off, so you don't want to do that. Okay, speed is coming down nicely now. Airfield's ahead of us. Winds are going to be from the north, so our best option is going to be going in for 06, as I mentioned. And that's going to be the runway running laterally here. 2406. We've got a cross runway there, but I couldn't find data on its in-service status, so we're going to shoot for 06. So we should be good to join the downwind here, so we'll circle ourselves around with a little bit of power. Actually, you know what? We'll overtop and we'll do a right downwind join. This is really pretty. Absolutely gorgeous. You know what? We'll detour over here. We'll just bring it round into the right downwind. We'll go crosswind at the end of 2-4. Gives us an excuse to get a little bit closer to the beautiful village. Or I should say town, actually, to the north of the island. There we are. A very extended upwind. Let's call it that. A very extended upwind. Looking good for now. We're just about our flap extension speed right now, so When we need to drop some flaps as we slow down, will be perfect to do that. Gears keeping our speed on the lower side. Looking good. Okay, I'm going to turn her to the right now. Oh, very nice. Okay. Pull that power back and let ourselves start descending down to pattern altitude as we arrive here. We'll take the right downwind and set ourselves up for our approach. I could feel myself getting blown already to the side here. You can just about catch the drift, actually. Pedals are straight right now and the aircraft's wanting to windmill. Give it a bit there just to keep ourselves over. Well, it means we'll have a good headwind for landing, that's for sure. Woo-wee. It's feeling pretty breezy actually today. There we go. Okay, crossing 2-4 approach. Vineyard traffic. Skymaster November 403 CRX, we're entering right downwind for landing 06. Okay, roll her around here. Drop a stage of flaps there. Bring the power back to idle and see what she wants to do. We'll let this kind of dogleg out a little bit. We're a little bit close. We've got the sun into our eyes here. Secondary advantage there is, of course, we have the sun behind us as we come in, making for a good visibility approach. Just gonna lean up a little bit in the seat here, get myself sat nice and stable. A little bit of turbulence here with the wind behind us. Okay, 800 feet right now. Bit more power, just to balance things out for us. Keep ourselves. We're 102 over the ground. Yeah, we're definitely catching. Whew, yeah, we've got like 18 knots right now. That is very breezy. We'll have to be quite careful on this base turn. Vineyard traffic, Skymaster 03 Sierra X-ray, right turn base to land 06. This thing slows down like a bus, by the way. Or like it's been hit by a bus. It really bleeds speed. Vineyard traffic, Skymaster 03 Sierra X-ray turning final, runway 06 to land. Okay, there we go. Oh my days. Yeah, we're sure if you don't know if you're sure you can read the GTN there, but we've got about 65 knots ground speed for our 80 indicated right now, or 82 indicated. And a brisk, strong headwind. Very strong headwind, in fact. but not a lot to get in the way of the coastal winds here, which will make things always a little bit bouncier. Looking good here. Catched a bit of a fluff. Trying to go for a more steep approach this time, just to account for that. Let the wind bring me down. There we go. Welcome to Martha's Vineyard, folks. Look at ourselves slowed down here. Don't even need any... You know what? I'm just going to put my flaps fully out here. I don't need brakes. With this much wind, I don't need brakes at all. I'll let it slow me down. Look, Ma, no feet. Actually, no, bit of feet, bit of feet, bit of feet, bit of feet. Vineyard traffic, Skymaster 03, CR X-ray turning off. 06 for parking. 33 isn't in use today, we'll say, so that'll bring us down to the taxiway here nicely. Onto Alpha. Here we are at the Vineyard. We'll take a little ground tour once we get pulled to a stop. I have to look down to the side of my computer to excuse me there. Okay, looking good. We'll pull up next to these biz jets over here, I think. Seems like an appropriate spot for our lovely Skymaster. Actually, no, GA parking's down beyond that, so we'll head over there. We'll head over there indeed. First glances, this looks rather nice, actually. I'll have to take a more detailed look once I get here, but in-sim performance at the airport is actually pretty nice. I always get a little bit nervous when it comes to larger airports that can take bigger aircraft, and their performance with add-ons tends to get pretty chunky. I'm lucky having a higher-end machine. It's not the highest end these days, but I'm also not paying crypto mining inflated prices for graphics cards, where a 3070 will cost me £1,500. Screw that. I'm not even going to talk about the price for a 3090. Here we are. Got one of the TBMs parked up there. You know, we'll park at the hangar there. Why not? It's full of pallets, but we'll call it the hangar. Why not? I know you're probably just storing things here, but you'll do for now. Let's not run them over. He looks happy. Maybe he's listening to music in his headset. Okay. Engine's cut. Power is off. Let's take a little trip outside, shall we? Well, here we are at Martha's Vineyard. Lots and lots of GA parking spots, so if you want to have somewhere as a home base you can fly from. A number of open hangars. Tons of the actual real-world GA parking that's here. I did look at the map beforehand, and everything it's here actually does look exactly like it should be. The tower and the buildings over there are accurate, from what I remember. I love the little bit of added love and detail over here in the parking lot. It's not always a big thing, but it's nice to see it. Ah, the airport police station. Massachusetts Sheriff's, yep. So it's a police car. Oh well. I'm not going to be griping over the difference between a police and a sheriff cruiser. Although just a good job it's not a trooper car. But hey, I digress. So we have the surrounding buildings towards the airport and businesses out here in the vicinity as well. And up there to the north. The parking here at the Vineyard. It's not a ton of parking, but this isn't a massive, you know, international airport or such. It's a regional and business and private airport, essentially. So they've got what they need. Ooh, let's take a look in here. Ah, it's the firehouse. With a fuel pump in here. Interesting. Or a service area, but I think that's the fire station, so Yeah, I'd probably expect that to actually just have fire trucks in it. Do these have anything in them? Nope, they're just exterior shells, but honestly, airports where I've seen them do interiors for buildings, it does feel very superfluous to me. Martha's Vineyard Airport, General Aviation. Hello, random people. It's the first of the stock people I've seen here. Oh my god, she looks deranged. You crazy lady? Hello? Off we go over here. Ooh, more crazy people. You look very sassy, or like you came off like a stock images website. Or at least your face did. It's like, hi, I'm waving happily as we stand here, looking like a serial killer's plaster cast dummies. Did they get the bathrooms? Oh, wow. Yeah. I could make a comment about this. I really could. But I won't. I think the comment makes itself. Sometimes. Although a lot of people would like to say that connection is much stronger than I believe it is, but it has its moments. Oh, lots of silly people to look at. How... Oh, God. I mean, you're never going to get this close to them, so it's absolutely fine. They don't look perfect. I'd rather have slightly lower poly people than crazy, ridiculous poly people. But I actually like the variety of people. They're not at least 2D. And from a reasonable distance like this, they look alright. Just don't get too close, otherwise... Oh, that's demonic. That is extremely demonic. I am now scared. Very scared of the papier-mâché people. Ah, this is nice. I could definitely see myself doing more flying out here. Got the other apron up there for some of the biz jets. We'll just dip over there before we call this one a wrap, but... Some jet parking up that end. I'm not sure whether these buildings over here were added by the developers, but... There's the VOR itself. Yeah, there is the actual VOR, the VR that we flew into. Mike Victor Yankee. So we've got some jet parking here. We've got this industrial park, which appears to actually have been added in by the developers. So this is all part of it too. So surrounding businesses that you would know actually have been physically added in. That's cool, actually. I appreciate adding a bit more detail to the exterior of the airport, not just the airport itself. Because in many cases, things like a business park can be a visual reference for some things. Obviously, this close is already going to be a bit of a sign that you're already there, but... That's cool. I don't think it adds to the general overall impression of an airport. But this is nice. I rather like this one. And it's given me an excuse to come out here for the first time in the Flight Sim 2020. I quite enjoy it. Hopefully you enjoyed the flight with me today. And those are some brisk winds. I would suggest coming out to the coasts at this time of year. It is spicy air. Thank you for watching, guys. As I wobble my head around like an idiot. And I'm still getting used to this stuff. Let's turn my head off. Bye.